What's up, fam? It's your boy, and you already know what time it is, baby. Hey, look, man, I'm glad to be back with you all, man. And we got so much to break down, so much content to provide. And man, we're gonna start what we always start at on Sunday evenings, and that's with stocks to watch. And in this video, man, we're going to break it down from a technical perspective on some of the stocks that I think that you need to watch this week, as earnings season has now dwindled down, and now we can just focus on earning reports and getting through fundamental analysis and combining that with technical analysis and going forward. So what you're going to see, this is the last week where we're going to just talk strictly about stocks on a technical basis, and then I'm going to start getting into some of the weeds of some of the best stocks that I think there is out there, and breaking down those fundamentals for you in another couple of videos and showing you exactly what I'm thinking about as a lot of this started to unfold. Now, what we're going to do in today's video, we're going to get through these stocks, we're going to talk about the technicals, and then, man, you can already expect a follow-up video for the hot option plays that I'm considering and some of the things that you need to be paying attention to, and breaking it down from a holistic standpoint. Now, if for some odd reason you find value in this type of content, I definitely need you to hit that like button, and for sure, go ahead and join the fam and hit that subscribe button too, and bang that notification bell to get notified each and every time I drop way more high content like this. Let's start first with Zoom. We're going directly into that. That is stock symbol ZM. And man, you can already see how it's playing out on the weekly. I love using the weekly for a technical look, because when you look at this, it gives you the straight downtrend looks that you're looking for, right? So you going down here, we can actually see that Zoom has since they hit that 588.44 high, that it's been on a downtrend ever since. And man, these downtrends do not lie. They tell you this the whole exact story, that Zoom has not yet recovered to the level that it needs to, and more pain may be on the way. Why do I think that more pain may be on the way when it comes down to Zoom? Because if you take into consideration what is going on with these last few earning calls on the daily report that we've been seeing, that you see, you will understand that Zoom is not the big baller in the video space. I think video conferencing is now a Microsoft Teams agenda, and some that they've taken on headwind with and went full throttle in, and has now annihilated Zoom. And I don't think Zoom has the capacity to actually grow with it, which breaks my heart a little bit, because one of the very few first stocks that I wanted to actually bring to the channel and grow with the channel was Zoom. But I had to realize that Microsoft was actually taking advantage of this play, and then actually went into the space and dominated the space. So to me, Zoom has a lot of headwind ahead of it that it needs to deal with, and we need to understand what that looks like and dive into those earning reports and understand more about it over time. Now, as a recovery play, Zoom is dead for right now, but you'll see it as like the likes of Peloton and others. It could bounce back if we was to get a serious pandemic throbbing through and during the winter months here, but I doubt we see those type of things with vaccinations actually still increasing, and we'll see how that plays out. Now, on Monday, after the close as well, another company is reporting, this Urban Outfitters. I think you should pay attention to this stock as well if you're looking to own shares. If you're looking to play this in the option game, to me, it's not a lot of open interest there. Not a lot of open interest doesn't mean that I can sell my options back at a fair value price. I guess that bid-ask spread, so I steer clear of those type of plays. So let's talk about Tuesday, because there's a lot of heavy hitters there, man, and I'm going to keep this thing limited because we want to talk about technicals in this video and show you the technicals in this video. So what I want to talk to you about first and foremost is the companies that we need to think about when it comes to Tuesday. And I'm going to tell you the ones before the bell, and then I'm going to talk to you about some of the ones after the bell, and then I'll break down a couple technicals on some of the ones that I'm thinking about, jogging my memory on, and then break this down for you later if I think some of these are some of the plays that may make the option play video for the week. Okay. So let's talk about Tuesday. Tuesday, we actually have, if you're looking at the chart, we got Dick's Sporting Goods, Best Buy, XPeng, Dollar Tree, Burlington, and Analog Devices all reporting earnings before the opening bell, okay? Now, out of the ones that I want to really pay attention to, I definitely want to pay attention to Dick's Sporting Goods, Best Buy. XPeng is something to pay attention to, but I don't know if it's one of the ones that's really going to catch my eye. Then Dollar Tree, and then maybe even Burlington in the whole aspect here, but I'm keeping it limited to DKS, Best Buy, and Dollar Tree for this video. But now, if we was actually, I'm hiding myself for just 1 second. If you was looking at after the close on Tuesday, you will see that we had HP, Gap, Nordstrom, and Autodesk actually reporting earnings here. Now, the reason why I like some of these companies here is because Gap is one, is a clothing space, and retail is doing quite well right now in the run up for the Santa Claus rally, in my opinion. And then you got Nordstrom as well, doing quite well too. And then you're talking about Autodesk. Autodesk is is one of the things that I consider when it comes into the metaverse space, and this is something that I really want to keep a close eye on. So you definitely can understand why I got Autodesk as one of the ones that I really want to watch on Tuesday, as we're starting to understand way more about this and how it could actually be used in the metaverse space. Similar, very similar, very, 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 very similar to what we already have in a lot of other areas. But we'll talk about those things as we go forward, as we talk about with Matterport and likeness like that. So we'll see how that plays out and then see where we can go from there. So let's talk about what we got to come up with now with Dick's Sporting Goods. We're going to break down Dick's Sporting Goods right now on the technical side of the house. Let's look at it real quick. And when we see Dick's Sporting Goods, man, look at this play right here. This is a trend that's been set back here since 1346 during the pandemic on March 18th. And look at this run that it's been on ever since. If you was to put this in a channel, your channel would actually be just like this. Look at this from the top here, where it basically was on a run beforehand, and then it broke down from that run, and it's been on a new run ever since that point in time. And we can only get those points at this very top. But let's look at it from the bottom type standpoint too. If you look at it from this putting it in a channel, look at the channel that it's actually developing quite nicely on actually Dick's Sporting Goods, which right now is just formed right back into that channel. So now that it has fallen back into that channel, now I feel like we have a nice top here that we can actually project towards. And if it keeps trending up towards these levels, we can see 150, at least in this area, that we can actually get to. So that's promising here. And unless Dick's Sporting Goods does something during the earnings report to actually see the high volume come in and drop it down, I don't think that you will actually have a problem here. And if you look at it on the weekly, looking at it on the weekly, you see this actually falling right back into the channel as well. So we had that nice fall out of the channel, and then it pulled right back into it. And this is very bullish, especially as the stochastics is now starting to come out of the basement. We see that the RSI is nice and tight, right below the overbought territory. And so this is telling me that we got a lot of good things in store for Dick's Sporting Goods. Now, let's go back over to the daily real quick, because we're doing this for a technical piece as well. So we want to actually get our support and resistance line in order here. So let's see what we got here, because we already seen that Dick's Sporting Goods hit all-time highs. Okay, so we'll hit this up at the top right here with a gold, because it's all-time highs now that we're looking at. And then we'll actually got a channel here where I think that this is actually a play for Dick's Sporting Goods. Okay, if you're looking to buy shares, you always want to buy at the bottom of a channel. You don't want to buy at the top of it, because that gives you more room to actually run. But right now, I think that we're looking at a nice level when it comes down to Dick's Sporting Goods. So for me, if I'm actually thinking about considering buying Dick's Sporting Goods, just on a technical aspect without doing any fundamental actual work into this a little bit, 91.74 is a nice spot. Look at it, how many bounces that you got off of it, right? And it consolidated there, then it made its next move. And now it's trying to figure out where it wants to go next. So for me, this is a soft support line right here for Dick's Sporting Goods, DKS. So I'll leave that there for right now. So we'll see how many times it retests that area. But I think that 91.74 is where you want to see it come back down to if you're looking to get into it with shares as an entry, okay? So that's Dick's. So now let's talk about Best Buy, okay? We're going to go BBY. So you'll see with Dick's Sporting, with Best Buy, we talked about with Dick's Sporting, because you always want to pay attention to your support lines and where you're actually going at in these next levels. Now we see that Best Buy is already trending at higher highs than ever, right? This is the highs that it's been. So looking at it on the weekly, you'll see that it's already broke through. But look at the support and resistance lines that we have drawn and see how systematically it has touched each one of those, right? So now let's pay attention to it on the daily. When you pay attention to it on the daily, you see the stochastics is now in the basement. Oh man, this is beautiful. For us, I think this is a nice time to consider actually getting a call on this play. We're going to pay a lot of attention to this, doing my options video for the week. But man, looking at this is setting up beautiful, and I like the way that this chart is looking. So we're going to do a nice little breakdown over there on this video, on the next video as I produce this one out, okay? So then we'll see. The next one that we want to talk about is Dollar Tree. Dollar Tree is another play that we want to check out. And like I said, looking at the support and resistance lines that I've been drawing and paying attention to these stocks, this is another level that I'm looking forward to. Like Dollar Tree at all-time highs as well. And what I want you to understand, though, is that when your boy call plays, tell you that they're going back to certain levels, consider doing your research and understanding where I'm coming from on that, because history has repeated itself so many times with a lot of these stocks, and I'm showing you each and every time how some of these stocks are actually producing themselves. So when I talked about Dollar Tree going back to $100 stock, a lot of people was tripping when I told them, when I saw it over here about 85.69 when it came down to this level. And I'm like, yo, this is a $100 stock. It's very undervalued at this point in time. If you're not in this play, this is a play to get into and consider even doing a longer option play for to watch it retreat back to $100. And now, if you're looking at Dollar Tree, we are sitting here at $135, which is all-time highs, fam. This is what I get at when I talk to you about things like that. So let's do another field retracement on actual Dollar Tree right here, so we can actually get our levels together and kind of see where we're at on the play. Okay. So we see that 137.05. Let's lock that in too, so that way it don't move. So 137.62 is our level, and then we got 185.11. Those are the levels that we're looking for. So we got a lot of room to play with in between 137 and 181. So for me, what you got to think about when you're looking at type of things like this, let me bring that up for you so you can see it a little bit too. When you think about these levels, you got to think about how could you actually take advantage of this. And if you come over and you check out my high option play video, I'll show you what I'm thinking about when it comes over to that. So you got to stay tuned for that video. It's going to actually be coming up very, very soon. So pay attention to that. So when I think about this, though, Dollar Tree is very bullish. It's showing a lot of signs of bullish activity continuing on, especially now that they're getting out of the $1 item venue, where they're actually now starting to give you increased pricing on certain levels of items, whether it could be $1, $2, $3, or whatever. That's going to actually increase margin. And when that increases margin, that means the value is going up. That means more revenue is coming in. So pay attention to Dollar Tree as this now takes off and makes it a more hot, continuous buy. Okay, so now we got to go to after the close. We talked about 3 during the morning session on Tuesday. Let's talk about at least 2 of these. And let's start with Nordstrom, okay? Nordstrom we're going to talk about. We'll see that Nordstrom actually sitting here right now, right above my support line that I drew when it fell below it. So now we actually got another consolidation area here that we're actually going to take advantage of actually marking up right now. We'll put that there. So now we already know this is another demand zone for Nordstrom. So if you're getting good, if you're trying to get good at technicals, doing your chart and when you actually go back and revisit stocks helps you actually see where you're at. Right, so you'll see that we had this now. This is a demand zone, and we got another demand zone right here that they won't let the stock go below. Okay, so this is how I like to actually mark it up so we can keep advantage, just basically keep up what's going on with the stock. So when you start seeing movement like this, you start to see exactly you're retracing history. You can go back through and you can actually look at where your areas are at. And these are now areas where you think that you can actually load up on a stock or actually see an opportunity to actually load up on an option play. And that's what we like to do. Now, we obviously know that we have a downtrend going on right now with this play, but we'll put a top in on this right now too, so we know what the top is. And that'll be gold for right now until we see if we go past this level. So right now, that's what we got. And now we got this area right here that we need to figure out. Is this consolidation area, and where is that area is going to be at? So when we look at this, I like to make sure that we got an area that we can take advantage of. So let's see. We got a top here. Yeah, this would be my next level of nah, that's too far up. Maybe there. Let's go to the daily. Let's go down to the daily. See what we got. Boom, boom, boom. So here, this is where your level is at right here. You'll see a level where you actually want to take advantage of this area. So 38 is where I think the next support, next resistance line is at that you want to pay attention to. So we'll use that white for right now as that's something we want to get through and see if we can push through that level. So now this consolidation area that we have here, we just not entered this. So 38 would be my resistance level. And I want something closer to the money if we actually got into this option play at that level. So this is something to pay attention to, see where it takes you at. But right now, I like JWN on a technical basis because it's actually starting to trend line back up. And you're starting to see higher highs and higher lows. And we actually drew a trend line from where we're at here on the support line. You'll see that it's actually pushing out past this level. So that's a good line here to actually pay attention to. And we'll see how that develops over time here with actually JWN. So the next one that we should pay attention to on this day is the Autodesk, okay? ADSK. And I don't know if I've actually charted ADS. Okay, good. I haven't. So now this gives us some actual activity to actually get into when we're talking about charting. So what I like to do when we're starting to chart out a stock is actually pay attention to the key levels that I like. Okay, and one of those key levels is down here, right at 124.40. Very obviously we at the very top here, so we want to make sure we chart that out as well. So now that gives you that area that you want to pay attention to a lot. And we'll make that gold. We'll keep this one like purple because it's intermediary right now. And we'll see how that level pays out. And then we got consolidation here at this level a little bit. But we want to see if this actually can mark another area later that it may come back down and retest here. So we'll leave this white until we get confirmation if that's going to happen. And then one more time below, we got another area here. We'll pay attention because it's like a support and resistance line here. So we'll pay attention to that. And we have not been below those levels. So we'll leave that here and chart it. But I believe during earnings that we're going to get good news from Autodesk. And you think it's going to be a lot of inquisitive questions about how this is going to play out versus the metaverse. And is this something that is in comparison to Matterport, things of that nature? And we'll see. If it is, then we could actually take advantage of this. This is actually part of the Metaverse Pie. Using that first one, that third link down below, you can see that that's part of the Metaverse Pie that I actually have created already within One Finance, where you can take advantage of all the stocks that's actually kind of in comparison to the Meta ETF. And I've actually put this whole pie together where you can take advantage of that. And you actually can see that we're up 16% right now on that particular pie that I've already made, okay? So let's talk about Wednesday. Wednesday, we have John Deere reporting earnings, and obviously this is another play that you want to pay attention to as we get into the infrastructure bill now being approved. This is another play that you want to see how this is actually going to take advantage of this stock as well. So let's head over to the weekly. Let's chart it out real quick, see what we actually have, and we'll get this one down real quick. So we'll see that we got a top and a bottom, right, on John Deere. And then you'll see here, this is where your area is at. We'll go that one up real quick because gold is where we actually at the top. All right. So now when you look at this, you'll see that we have that support line here at 105.08. And that was way back in March 27, 2020. And we actually had that nice climb back up. And now we got this consolidation period right here where now we need to pay attention to that. So this is very intermediary. So we'll put that as purple and we'll pay attention to it and see if it can keep consolidating here. But obviously we know we got 404.13. At the very top should be about 430. So we'll bring it down tighter so we'll see it. There you go. And that's the level. That's the level that we're at. So we want to play in this box a little bit here and see what we can actually get out of it and see if it actually continues that trend up. That's how you do this, okay? So we'll pay attention to that. And then we got PDD reporting earnings on Friday. I can't say the name of it, so I'm not going to try to pretend, but this has been a hot stock for a lot of people as of late. It's a China-based stock. I don't pay attention to a lot of these China-based stocks outside of NIO and Alibaba, but some people like it, so I actually chart it up and keep an eye on it real quick because this is another stock to actually pay attention to if you're learning about things in the stock market. You always keep your ear to the street and understand what it is that's going on in the stock market, but this is one of those ones where I'm not very interested in it right now. Maybe I will as I do more research, but we've seen that it came from a high of $212 down to $81.87. And to me, this is a stock to steer clear of right now at this point in time until they can actually show you a reason why to pay attention to it. So a lot of people are interested. I'm not interested at this point, and I'm not going to give you any type of information that I don't know about the stock or what I consider this stock to do next without diving into the details or the fundamentals. And really and truly, it's on the back burner of a lot of stocks that I need to get through at the well-earned fundamental earnings season. So this is what I like to do, man. I like to break down stocks with you guys that you need to pay attention to. This is an earnings season that has now concluded with this week coming up. We got some heavy hitters still in the market to talk about now. But at the end of the day, what it comes down to is doing your technicals and then bridging that gap with fundamentals. And that's what we're going to do next. So if you like the type of psychology that I bring to the stock market, you definitely got to use that first link down below where you can be a part of my Discord, where you can come over there and you can be a part of the fam. And you can get all this information from me on how I think about the stock market and even get my buy and sell alerts any time of the day I make them. That way you can be informed on anything that I see in the market and you can make your own determinations after that, okay? So if you love this type of content, definitely hit the like button, definitely hit the subscribe button, and don't forget to bang that notification bell, baby. I'll catch y'all in the next video, and if you don't do anything else, Use that link down below where you can apply for life insurance in 5 minutes. It's simply the right thing to do for not only yourself, but your family too. I love y'all. Stay safe. Peace.